Good evening and welcome to the Manteno Village Board meeting for Monday, August 16th, 2021. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and if we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Boyce.
Here.
Martin. Dole.
Here.
Crockett.
Here.
Geske.
Here.
Phillips.
Here. We have a quorum. As always, we begin with the approval of the minutes. In tonight's packet, everyone has the minutes from our August 2nd, 2021 meeting, and hopefully everyone has had the opportunity to review them. Are there any changes, additions, deletions, corrections? Seeing none, I accept the motion to waive the reading of the minutes and approve them as presented by the clerk.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dole. Second. Second by Boyce. Roll call.
Dole.
Yes.
Boyce.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
Geske.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Motion carries. Public participation. Chris, we have anybody that signed up to address the board?
We do not.
Okay. Village President's report. Tonight we have another swearing in. Over the course of the last couple meetings, we've been fortunate to be able to swear in a number of new police officers, and this is the fourth one coming up tonight. In let's say we went for several years without having any openings, and all of a sudden we were able to be able to increase the department and get a number of new hires. So, Chief, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mary. Like you said, we're getting pretty good at this. I promise it's probably the last time you're here for a little while, hopefully. I've talked before, it's tough to lose the experience we've lost. 2 weeks ago we heard from Jimmy Ramsire, 20-plus experience. That means a lot to the department, but as I mentioned in our hiring process, we were fortunate. A lot of departments are having trouble recruiting, and that was not a problem for us. We had 65 candidates apply here, which is unbelievable. It's the most I've heard in this area in a long time. And we were super impressed by the quality of the candidates we got. So while we're losing experience, we're really gaining some high quality candidates. 3 of them are in the academy right now, started last week. And tonight I'm going to introduce our latest officer. Her name's Karen Brandt. As in the past, we've talked about how fortunate we have been to get local connections with most of our officers. Karen's no exception. She's born and raised in Kankakee County. I just learned her dad actually went to school in Manteno. I did not know that, Jim, which is kind of cool. Karen went to ISU, to college, joined the National Guard. National Guard or Reserve? National Guard. She actually plays the oboe in their band. And I found out earlier today, Sean plays the drum, so I think we're getting close to our own band. How cool would that be? She comes with quite a bit of experience, actually. She works for did work for the Champaign County Sheriff's Department in the jail. She's been there about 8 years. She started there in 2014, so she's bringing a lot of experience with her. So we're very excited to get her. She's going to be an excellent officer for us. So, Karen, you want to come on up? If you want to go around the outside, we're going to swear you in right under the Manteno thing. If anybody wants to take pictures, you got it? Go ahead. Sure. Awesome.
Oh, no, you go right up there. Good, how you doing?
So if you would please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Karen Brandt,
Do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and to enforce all laws and ordinances
and to enforce all laws and ordinances
of the Village of Manteno, and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of police officer
the duties of the office of police officer
for the Village of Manteno
for the Village of Manteno
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
You still want to get away with that?
We don't want you to get away with it. Right here. Be great. Thank you, Karen. Now you can take your picture.
Do you want to come up here, Mom?
Yeah.
Hey, anybody wants to join up, you're more than welcome.
I think they're good.
She's gonna come up closer.
Excellent.
Take your time.
Yeah, congratulations. Well, like the chief said, we're very fortunate to have Karen, and I guess she starting right away, and she's already been to PTI, been to PTI already. So the citizens of Manteno will be seeing her on the street tomorrow morning or tomorrow, whatever her shift is. So congratulations to Karen.
That's the third female officer now? Three?
I believe she's the third.
Third female officer, we're
Yeah.
excited about that as well. I've often said our department should reflect our community, and our community is not a community of white men only. We have a lot of women that live here, approximately 50%, so this is a good start.
When I talked to Jessica earlier tonight and said, you know, how she kind of blazed the trail when she was the first officer, and I said, well, you've been with the department, what, 2 or 3 years now? And she goes, no, 4.5. Time kind of travels fast, you know, so congratulations to all the new female officers. And now, because of that, we will probably be making some adjustments in the police department, some of the facilities too, the locker room. We've got to do some changes over there, and we've discussed that at a couple different meetings about making some different adjustments and having to make some investments over there. So those things will be happening over the course of the next several months. Other items under my report, we have a couple of requests for some approvals. Tonight we've got a request from the Manteno Firefighters Association. Manteno Firefighters Association, IAF Local 4042, is seeking permission to conduct a fundraising campaign for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. This would consist of members from the Local 4042 and families be collecting donations as part of the annual Fill the Boot campaign. The campaign locations would consist of being out in front of various businesses throughout the village of Manteno. The local would first ask permission at each location for the specific dates and times. Fundraising efforts would then be conducted at that business after a business grants permission. The dates and times requested for the campaign are Friday, August 20th from 8 till noon, Saturday, August 21st from 8 till noon, and Sunday, August 22nd from 8 till noon. This is something that we've approved, every year in the past, and the fire department has had good success in town. Everybody is pretty generous for this campaign. So I would accept the motion to approve the firefighters' request.
I make the motion.
Motion by
I'll second that.
Motion by Phillips, second by Dole. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We also have 2 block party requests. One is for Whitetail Drive to be held on 9/11/21, and the other one is for Rock Creek on Granite Drive on August 21st, 2021. The requests have been filled out and sent to us for approval, and if they're granted tonight, then these will be sent to the PD and to the fire department and all the different agencies, so they can get the public works, so they can get barricades and make everybody aware that the streets will either be blocked off or going to be limited in traffic for those days. Is there any discussion in regards to either one of these requests? Seeing none, I accept the motion to approve both requests.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dole. Second. Second by Geske. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. That's all I have. Village Administrator's report, Mr. LaRock.
Thank you, Mayor. I have one kind of an update. We did finally receive our preliminary census numbers, and Manteno went up by a total of 6. We went from 9,204 to 9,210. So we were actually one of the only communities in the area that actually went up. Most of them went down, so I guess that's a win. But
I think that was mostly the Mulholland family that moved to town.
well, Joel kind of brought up that maybe, we just have less kids in the community, but I said, no, the Mulhollands moved in and offset that number, so that can't be it. But it does seem odd. These are preliminary numbers. They haven't approved them yet, but I think this is probably going to stay the same, and it's a little bit, we just can't make sense of it, obviously, because of, in the last 10 years, we've probably built at least 75 to 100 houses, and back in 2010, there were a lot of foreclosures, so there was a lot of empty houses in town, so, Ryan and I worked on the census, for that year and a half, and certainly we're confident that we covered every new address, and then after the initial count, they gave you the opportunity to add stuff that was under construction, and we submitted all that as well. So how that happens, I don't know. It seems like it should be a lot more.
Yeah, and I think, well, like I say, we're fortunate in the fact that, we are one of the only communities in the county that did, even though it was a minuscule increase, it was still an increase where there's a lot of communities that lost several hundred or several thousand people. I think there's, it appears there could potentially be an undercount throughout the whole area, throughout probably the whole, everywhere, just because of COVID and the different difficulties that the Census Bureau had in being able to reach everybody during the time of a pandemic. So, but again, fortunate because not only do we not lose any income, we get a little bit more, but these numbers are in effect for a 10-year period. So. That makes a big difference in funding over the course of the next 10 years. So while we'd always like to see a higher number, what we're really looking for is an accurate number. And at least we were in the positive, not in the negative.
Yeah. That's all I have this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Rock. Committee reports, Public Works and Utilities, Mr. Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no items tonight, but my next meeting is on 8/24 at 7 a.m. right here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boyce. Properties and Recreation, Mr. Martin is not here tonight. He has no items on the agenda. His next Parks and Recreation meeting is scheduled for August 18th. Is that the one that was canceled?
Yes.
Okay, so it will be in September. Public Safety and Health, Mrs. Dole.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any action items on the agenda tonight. My next public safety meeting will be tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. back here at the Village Boardroom. Wanted to talk a little bit about school is starting this Wednesday. Our kids will be heading back to school. Please slow down and pay attention to the areas where they walk and ride. Our wonderful crossing guards are also back for another year. Please watch out for them and be prepared to stop. Also, if you have kids that walk or ride to school, make sure to tell them to listen to what the crossing guard tells them and wait for the okay to cross from them. We have crossing guards at 4 locations. However, there are many other places kids may cross, so tell them to be extra cautious at those intersections. Please be careful driving near the schools during these times. We hope this is a great school year for our kids. The crossing guards sections or places are on Cook Street at South Poplar Street, that's at the elementary school. Division Street at Poplar Street, and this is definitely a very crucial section between the elementary and the middle school. Park Street at Poplar Street, which is the middle school, and 3rd Street at Maple Street, which is between the middle and the high school. So as I said about Division Street, just make sure if your kids are crossing, and there are a lot of kids that cross at that intersection, if they're riding their bikes, listen to the crossing guards because it's extremely important intersection there. And that's all I have.
And just the crossing guard, I mean, the lights that we have on Division Street, that's the only place that we have flashing lights. I'm assuming that they're functional, that, everything is working there. They were working last year when we got done. I'm assuming that it's something we probably should check tomorrow just before that. But that's, again, that's a very busy intersection, especially as the fall coming, a lot of trucks coming in and out. I know the police sit there a lot in the morning, when, in the middle of the road with their lights flashing, but they can't be there all the time. So, we want to make sure that all the intersections are safe, but that one is, extremely
crucial,
cautious.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Dole. Planning and Zoning, Mr. Crockett.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 2 items on the agenda this evening. The first one is Ordinance 2109, which is an ordinance granting a special use permit to allow for installation of a drive-up window at a property owned by Mitesh Patel, Level Construction, and located at Lot 1 in Star Plaza subdivision in Manteno. Dunkin' Donuts is progressing with their plan to construct a new standalone facility on the northwest corner of County Highway 9 and Route 45. A special use permit is required to include a drive-up window at the location. The Planning Commission held a public hearing for this request on August the 10th, at which time all interested parties were provided the opportunity to be heard. After review and discussion of the plan, the Planning Commission is recommending approval of the special use permit to allow for this drive-up window. Any comments, Ryan?
If they get the approvals that they're asking for, do you know the construction's hopefully starting this year?
They'd like to get
We
the
don't-
foundation in at least before the weather turns.
Okay.
The second item is ordinance 21-10, which is an ordinance rezoning 3000 North Maple Street from R1 Single Family Residential District to C2 Commercial District. The village is in the process of designing and constructing a new public works facility on the property recently purchased on North Maple Street. This rezoning is necessary to allow for proper zoning of the facility. This request was also heard at the Planning Commission meeting, and they are recommending approval of the rezoning.
As Todd stated, this was discussed at the Planning Commission meeting. We notified all the surrounding property owners. Some did attend the meeting. The village chose the lowest zoning classification for the specific use. So we're in the very early stages of designing the facility, but this was one of the first steps. So.
Yeah, this is at the far north end, basically, right at the north end of Legacy Park, on the east side of the street.
The next Planning and Zoning Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday.
You've got one more.
Should be. Let's take a look here. You're right, I do. We have ordinance 21-11, which is an ordinance approving a special use permit for the operation of a child care facility at 1004 Lincoln Drive here in Manteno. The ordinance requires a special use permit to operate a child care facility in the village. The petitioner applied and was on the agenda for the Planning Commission meeting on August 10th. All interested parties were given an opportunity to speak at the public hearing. After consideration, the Planning Commission is recommending approval of the request special use permit. Comments or thoughts on that one?
As Todd stated, this was discussed at the Planning Commission meeting. We have similar facilities in town. The village staff and Planning Commission recommended there wouldn't be any disturbances, or I think would be a great fit for that specific building. So.
Our next Planning and Zoning Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, August the 24th at 7 a.m. here in the Village Boardroom. And the next Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 14th, 6 p.m. here in the Village Boardroom. And that's all I have on the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Crockett. Finance, Mr. Geske.
Thank you, Mayor. The only item I have is payment of bills in the amount of $109,219.45, which has 0 TIF bills or bills authorized between board cycle. Our next Finance Committee meeting is tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
Thank you, Mr. Geske. General Government, Mr. Phillips.
I have nothing on the agenda, Mayor.
All right, so the items that we'll be voting on tonight on the consent agenda are as follows. Under old business, nothing. Under new business, we have ordinance 2109, which is an ordinance granting a special use permit to allow for installation of a drive-up window at property owned by Mitesh Patel, Level Construction, and located at Lot 1 in the Star Plaza subdivision, Manteno, Illinois. Item number 2 is ordinance 2110, which is an ordinance rezoning 3000 North Maple Street from R1 Single Family Residential District to C2 Commercial District. Item number 3 is ordinance 2111, an ordinance approving a special use permit for the operation of a child care facility at 1004 Lincoln Drive, Manteno, Illinois. And the payment of the bills in the amount of $109,219.45 with no tip bills. Are there any items on the consent agenda that need to be voted on individually? Seeing none, I'd accept a motion to take a single roll call vote on the question of passage of the agenda items as read.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Crockett,
Second.
second by Geske. Roll call.
Crockett.
Yes.
Geske.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Boyce.
Yes.
Dole.
Yes.
Motion carries. Accept the motion to approve by ominous vote the ordinances, resolutions, motions, and orders contained in the consent agenda as read.
I'll make that.
Motion by Boyce,
Second.
second by Dole. Roll call.
Boyce.
Yes.
Dart. Dole.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
Geske.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Motion carries. Comments tonight? Mr. Boyce, do you have anything you want to talk about?
Glad we welcome another officer. It's awesome. That's it.
Our department's getting younger. Ms.
All the
Stoll?
time.
Just remind everybody about school starting on Wednesday, just to be extra careful when you're driving all day long or whatever, because they can be coming mornings and afternoon and evening, they're out, want to meet their friends. So just be careful and encourage the kids to listen to the crossing guards. That's very important.
Mr. Crockett?
No comments this evening, Mayor.
Mr. Guest?
I have nothing.
Mr. Phillips?
Nothing tonight.
The only items I've got is just a thank you to, my wife showed me a post from the Manteno High School soccer club, or soccer team, did a run around town and picked up garbage during their run, and they took a picture of it, posted it online. Just what a great idea, and thank you very much to the soccer coach, the soccer team. We certainly appreciate any help what we can get in order to keep Manteno clean, and it was, since they're out running around anyway, it was a great thing for them to do. So thank you very much. And Chris, if we could send a letter to the coach and the team thanking them for the thoughtfulness in doing what they did. One other item, starting tomorrow, Jim found out today that Section Line Road is going to be closed starting tomorrow from Walnut Street to Maple Street. Aqua has got a company coming in to put a new water line under that road, and then the road will be repaved, and I believe the new street lights are going up. Those are in now, and they're going to be going up while the road's closed. So you'll be able to come in Section Line and turn north, or access Maple Street, but you won't be able to go straight through like normal. So that's something that's going to be changing tomorrow. And then the other thing, even though I know it's getting closer to towards the end of the year, I noticed over the course of the weekend, it was a beautiful weekend, a lot of golf carts out, a lot of golf carts over at the soccer fields, and there's an awful lot of them that never have taken the opportunity to get registered. There's, the green maple leaf is what you're supposed to have this year, and I would say there's probably 35 to 40% of people that don't have that. We're going to talk about it at Public Safety Officer meeting tomorrow, just have the police start reminding, we want to remind people that they still need to get those, having the golf cart and being able to use those is a privilege, and we want to make sure that everybody still is afforded that privilege, but it's not fair to the people who have registered and paid their fee for a good percentage of the other population to not do that. So please take advantage of the time in the next week or two to get your golf cart registered, because there will be some repercussions at some point in time. It's supposed to be a fun thing to be able to do. We don't want to penalize people, but same token, rules are rules, and we'd like them if the people would follow them. So with that, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Crockett.
A second.
Second by Dole. Roll call.
Crockett,
Yes.
Dole,
Yep.
Boyce,
Yes.
Geske,
Yes.
and Phillips.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much for coming and for watching.